please go.
Sid is Person,
Here.
Galen,
Here.
Walter.
Here. All right. First item up would be the Eagle Scout project at Foundation Park. I believe we have some individuals here to discuss that.
Mr. Daniel Burns.
Mr. Burns, if you could please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Daniel Burns. I live at 3643 Dixon Road Southwest.
Thank you.
I have some handouts.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Good, how are you?
Very good.
All right, if you'd like to explain your project.
All right, my proposal is to build a message board at Foundation Park. My name is Daniel Burns. I'm a senior at Lincoln Heights High School, and I also attend CTech in New York, where I'm studying electronics and computer technology. I'm a Boy Scout in Troop 26 out of Summit Station, where I've earned the rank of Life Scout. I'm working towards my Eagle Scout rank. My proposal is to build a message board near Conway's Trail and Foundation Park. The graphic is wrong. We've updated the location. It's going to be located on the southern corner at that intersection, right south from where it shows it would be, just so that more people are able to see the board as they're coming into the park. And figure 1 shows an example of what the message board will look like. It'll have 3 faces to it. And the board itself will be about 7 feet in length, 6 feet tall. It'll be a little bit taller just because of the length of the posts that we're going to be using, so it might be closer to 6.5 feet tall. And it'll be 2 to 2.5 feet deep. The posts will be 4 by 4 posts. They will be 10 foot in length, likely. That's how we're going to buy them. So, considering that we're going to be digging about 2.5 feet into the ground, you'll be up a little bit higher than 6 feet. And as far as the faces go, instead of doing plywood as the original plan design, we'll be using 1 by 6 boards as the backing. That way it'll look a little bit nicer. And then you'd be able to stain it or something like that, because we can get those treated. And then to the front of that, we will have some way of having removable corkboard. It can be replaced over a few years. So instead of stapling directly to the back face of those 1 by 6s, we can have corkboard, so it just looks a little bit nicer, especially as you staple things to it. And then on the top, we'll have a roof that will have shingles on top instead of metal. And if we can, we'll try and get green shingles just to make it look nice in the location. Anybody have any questions on the board?
Yep, I've got 2 questions for you. The first one is, you had mentioned digging into the ground with the poster. Is this going to be set in concrete, or is this just backfilled with dirt?
It'll be set in concrete.
Set in concrete, okay. And then the other one I had for, Linear, has this been in front of the park board yet?
This has been in front of the park board.
Okay.
Parks board saw him maybe a month ago and pushed it our way, and they did approve it at that point to move forward in the process.
Got it, thanks.
All right, and to build on that, so we went to the Parks Board first. Did you take the recommendations from the Parks Board and put it in your plans?
Yes.
Great. So it looks pretty updated from what we went through. Thank you.
Don't have anything, Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Chairman, since I'm here for this meeting, and I'm seeing this, I just have a question. Will you be putting clear Lexan across your corkboard to keep the notices and posters and stuff free of weather?
I was recommended to not do that by the Parks Board in case people decide to break it or for whatever reason.
Or scratch it.
And I know that over time
They basically
doesn't-
it was like cloudy.
Yeah, it gets cloudy, it doesn't look too nice.
We have one more for you. Because the posts are in a grass, I assume these are in a grass area or a lawn care area, I would just make sure that you leave enough room for the standard mower to get behind it. And then also potentially for, they have a, it's kind of like your baseboard, your vinyl baseboard material that you can actually put around the bottom of the posts. So when those posts are weed whipped around, they don't eat into the wood. It's a simple, it literally is vinyl baseboard that you can put around the bottom of those posts. And it really does help out quite a bit.
I was getting ready to say the same
Would
thing.
you? Yeah, so, the maintenance makes it so much easier, and plus, it's so much easier to trim around when you can just go right up against that vinyl and get that, done. It's a time issue, and it's also the weed whips, chew that wood up pretty fast. Looks like a little beaver's been gnawing on them. So,
I didn't think about that, that's a good thought.
it's easy to do,
Okay.
yeah. Would you ever consider metal, roofing on this, and if you were able to have some donated to you?
At first, we did consider metal, but Linear and I felt that shingles would just look better. but
Okay.
But we did consider it, and we're not opposed to it either.
Again, it's just another one of those maintenance items for you, Linear,
Yep.
that's all. So, okay.
Mr.
Daniel, can you let me know exactly where the movement, because the star on the map is off, right?
Yeah.
Just so that I know for the future.
We're moving it right to that corner.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Is that all, Tim? Mr. Crawford, do you have anything?
Yeah, since he's gonna be digging, I'll do my part in getting the hoops, just to go through the preliminary steps of prior to that portion of the project. We'll meet on site the week that he wants to start the project and setting post, and we'll most likely dig those holes ourselves, and then all he has to do is come in, set the poles, and then continue on with this project. So we'll take that part off of him as a beneficiary to the project, and then, we'll allow him to move forward from there.
Are we allowed to do that for an Eagle Scout project? I just want to make sure we're not, I've always been warned not to do too much to allow the Eagle Scout to do as much as possible.
I would hope so. I know previous projects I did have to lay out some dirt.
I can understand the layout, I'm just the actual physical work,
Okay.
do you think that's okay?
I can speak to that.
Anybody else?
Jude Hampshire, 13318 Haywood's Corners Road. All the Eagle Potential Scout has to do is plan the project. They actually don't have to do 1 minute of work.
Hmm.
They have to manage it, plan it, organize it, but they don't have to do the work. A lot of Eagle boards actually prefer them not doing the work themselves, but that's not always possible, especially when COVID was around, because you couldn't have a group work. So all he really has to do, the project doesn't actually have to be successful either, it just has to be completed. So,
I have no idea.
I mean, of course, you don't want to do the whole project for him, he should find other people to do it. I think between his family and our family, he's pretty much got it covered, so. Yeah, you're a good organizer, right? All right.
I see in here it says stain, paint, colors will be determined after material is determined. Have we figured that out yet?
We didn't determine the stain color, it'll probably just be a basic color stain, wood stain.
What color stain?
And that stain probably wouldn't happen for after the fact, so let it weather, and then we'll come back and stain it later.
And then the roof green, if at all possible.
Roof will be green. We can go back and forth on that, but shingle versus metal, yeah, we'll go back and forth on that one.
So I guess at this point, we're looking for a recommendation to council.
I'd like to make a motion that we recommend this to council for proceeding.
I'll second.
Kathy?
Jefferson,
Yes?
Gaylor,
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
So we'll bring this to Mr. Hicken, is it this evening, discussing it this evening?
That's fine. I think you could give it during your report, and then you could also make a motion from council to allow the project to continue. And
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
good job.
I wish you a lot of success with this, by the way. I'm hopeful it's successful.
All right, moving along, item 4, discussion of a new sign for the city hall. I believe the mayor wanted to speak on this.
Yeah, you know, every couple of years I've reached out to Buildings and Grounds to see if we could possibly upgrade our sign. I've talked to Scott in the past, and obviously we can do something on our own property. And I know it's getting said a lot these days, but with Intel coming and more interest in things in and around the city, I'd love to see the city building kept up and we modernize a little bit here and there. And just throwing it out there, if we could start the discussion, and I could work with a couple sign companies to get some visions. I know that when I talked to Branham Sign Company the last time, we'd had a vision of having something that you could really see from both sides as you came, both directions, and more of a V type, maybe, or whatever would work for our property. And then, of course, if we get more tenants in, you know, having more space on that sign, better lighting, letting folks know. I still, you know, probably once a week somebody says, where's City Hall at? Or they still think it's downtown and that kind of stuff. And, you know, so every time, you know, it's right next to 84 Lumber. I mean, you know, you're traveling at this point right around between 35 and 45 if you're traveling legally, and you're starting to speed up and you're going out of town. Kind of hard to see the sign. And I know our electricity is out at that point right now, so we don't even have any lighting, and all it is right now is 2 spotlights. In conjunction with that, we could also then get the car park sign taken down and put car park on that sign since it's on this property. Plus also the gentleman back there that I believe the road has been deeded over to us now.
It is not.
It has not.
It has not been accepted by the city.
Okay. Do we know where we're at with that issue?
I do not.
Okay. So when I first got in 12 years ago, this gentleman back here had approached me about, you know, and of course he wanted to either put a sign out here. Well, he wanted to put a sign out here, and then that's when Mr. King and we all discovered that the road had not been deeded over to the city. And the company I'm talking about is back here, Capital City Chrome. Sorry, I forgot to mention that, but in working with, part of the deal was, and I guess it just hasn't been worked out with, I'll have to touch base with Scott or Alan or whoever, but part of the deal was if you know, if he did deed the road over to us, which it probably should be, I would imagine, but that he was requesting, you know, a sign, so that people would know his business was back there. So I guess we'll have to work on that a little bit. So, but that's one of my proposals. My second is if you've, and I don't have any pictures, I can, if this generates any interest, I'll get some pictures, but if you've ever been through Gahanna and seen some of their community board signs at some of the intersections, nicely done with the Gahanna logo of the G, and then sliding boards to, you know, so you can change things and advertise Creekside or soccer sign-ups or anything like that. I would love to see, and I've already spoke to a couple of like North Valley Bank that's going in where the old Jiffy Lube was. They're very interested in doing something for the community. I thought that would be a super spot for a community board. I'm sure the Nutcracker would probably say okay too. I'm sure Coghlan, even though they're in Harrison Township, maybe we could get some collaboration there. The entrances to the city, if we could see, you know, some community boards that said, hey, soccer sign-ups this Saturday, fireworks, you know, next Saturday, Easter egg hunt this Sunday, those kind of things. I think as our community grows, and you know, just the the stuff on the internet that I see, people don't know what's, we had the Vietnam veterans, ceremony on, Sunday, and, I still get people after the fact say, I didn't even know it was happening. Of course, we put it out there, as much as we can, but, again, I just think that would be something that, I've spoken to Alan, Alan's fine with, he would be involved, obviously, because that signage would be in the right-of-ways. His concern was, maintaining it, and not maintaining it so much as painting or lighting or whatever that would be, but putting up the agendas. And I think I could either, I think I could get somebody like a Rotary Club that would stay up on, and it wouldn't be, Kathy Hoskinson's garage sale. It would be bigger items like Easter egg hunts, fireworks, stuff like that. So it would be more seasonal. As I talked to Tim about it, he brought up the word seasonal, which is perfect. Our seasonal events.
Yeah.
Other than breaking it down, so that, we wouldn't have to be doing it every week. But some of our major things here in town, I'd love for folks to know. COTC would probably say yes in a heartbeat. That would be that end of town. Again,
If I'm not mistaken, the ones in Gahanna, if there's nothing up, it just says like drive safe or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
And then isn't there sponsored too on the
Mhm.
sides for some of
Yes.
those?
Yep.
So,
So, again, I reach out to Chamber and we get, sponsorship. Well, to put the signs up, I think if, let's say I got Coglin to pay for it, North Valley Bank to pay for that one, COTC, if they paid for them, they could have obviously their logo or something up there, or, brought to you by COTC or something, and then that's, let's say, Community Board, something along those lines, and let them pay for it, and we have something at the entrances to the city with some of our main events. So, something I'd kinda like to see, and if, you guys chew on it, and if council wants it, wants to proceed, then I will take that ball and go with it and work with the companies, or the chamber, or Branham Sign Company, or whoever I have to work with to see if we can get that done. So, both the sign in the front and the community boards.
So Mike, when you say seasonal, who's permitted to put something on that sign? And who makes that determination?
Don't know right now.
Okay, I'm just,
Sure.
we're gonna get back to that discussion about what we had with the light boards, with the sign boards. Remember, we got into a big discussion about,
Yes.
anti-whatever,
Right.
and this, that, and the, we got into a big discussion about what was allowed to be put on it. And then, if you allow one, can you stop the other? And if you don't, are we not, this is the discussion that comes up in New Albany. I've been involved in this discussion. I know it happens in Gahanna also, and it's a can of worms that I just wanna make sure we're prepared for.
I think one can of worms you don't open is that, the city's not putting any money into this.
So again, that's where, fully understand, it's in right of way.
Mhm.
So if the city's not putting any money into it, and it's in right of way, who's making the decision of what goes on that, what goes on there? And if somebody determines that they don't like, women, no women functions can be on this, so there they just, is that gonna be proper for anybody?
No Girl Scout cookie announcements?
No Girl Scout cookie announcements.
Just forget it. Listen,
It's
that's a valid
it's just,
point. Sure.
we're gonna make sure, and then the second one was, when you mentioned, taking care of it, Rotary, would you have people, so we have our city, I misunderstood what you were talking about, we have our city signs, and sometimes our city entrance signs don't always get taken care of 100%. If we're responsible for taking care of this sign, are we prepared to do that?
In talking with Alan, I would not wanna give him any extra work for the street department. I don't think these would require any landscaping, they would just be, posts in the ground with a sign. As far as, servicing the signs, to put the events up, that's where I was gonna reach out to, like a Rotary, that would make sure the events got changed, so that the street department would have, well, no work at all, basically, other than, I think at some point, I would go back to the businesses there and say, look, okay, you got a post that's rotting out, so you're gonna have to give me a little money. I mean, it's on your property, you would want it to look nice, and And again, if their name was emblazoned on that sign saying courtesy of North Valley Bank, then I would
Yeah.
expect that they would keep it.
I don't think it's a bad idea, so don't take my questions wrong.
I'm not-
just putting them out
Sure.
there as, wanna make sure we have an answer for those questions, because I imagine they'll be posed to council.
I like that kind of input, cause again, what do you put up? And you know, and we all know, every municipality runs into that, you know, you
It's-
can't,
It's what gets put up on Friday at 3 PM and stays up there all weekend, and everybody goes nuts about, because it's on, you know, every Instagram and
Facebook.
YouTube and Facebook and everything else. Look what the city's promoting.
right?
Tag the mayor.
Could it,
Exactly.
could it just be restricted to citywide events?
Well,
Otherwise, it's empty.
and sometimes when I think about citywide events, then I think about some of these, events that the city right now doesn't sponsor, cause really, even though the city helps me, the city doesn't sponsor the fireworks, or the power show, or the Easter egg hunt,
Or the
those are all
cookie-
collaborations
Or the cookie
with-
walk.
Right.
or the cookie walk, so you've got Lions clubs and service groups that are pulling the main weight right now, so that'd be a kinda tough call, and we did get by with that, with the electronic.
We did.
Well, I would probably be my recommendation that the same list,
Yeah, kind of have a list in there of that type of stuff.
the same
And
list.
so
that-
far, we haven't had any pushback on
Mhm.
that. You know, we haven't, you know, truckers across America didn't wanna have their sign up on.
Right.
Cause you would have 50% of the people not agree with that. So,
Believe it, they asked.
I'm just saying that you would have had people not happy about that.
Listen, I have that conversation every day,
It's a-
50% of the people
always-
want this, 50% don't. I get it, thanks for your input, yes, sir.
So, there's two main questions. I have not seen the Gehanna signs. I intend to go look at them so I can speak intelligently on the subject.
The closest one would be, Havens Corners and, is it Taylor or Mann?
Stigler.
So far, most of
No,
what,
there's
No,
one
there's
closer.
one there, there's one there, I thought at 605 and.
The intersection right there at the
Yeah.
light.
Right there at the light.
Uh,
I thought there was one there.
Havens Corners and Taylor.
and that's the
Station.
point that I'm getting to is, you're talking about it at entrance ways, but I believe what we really need is identified spots at intersections. Not the entryways to the city, but a place where somebody is liable to stop
Mhm.
and read it. Because we're not talking about giant flashing signs, we're talking about a sandwich board type sign.
Pass the billboard.
Yeah, passive billboard that's smaller. So I
Yeah,
think,
Broad and Taylor might be something that nobody would, yeah, I mean, you've got 5 lanes of traffic there, so who's gonna see it? I understand that,
so that might also be something to go into the next line of discussion. You know, with the one entry point out on Watkins coming in, I don't know how often people stop there, but that might be a spot. The spot out here on 310 is probably a good one. 310 South, however, doesn't stop as it enters the city. So I think all that stuff is more fine tuning, but would be my two
Well,
cents.
I definitely ask, like an Allen, to say, you know, when you come to an intersection, which traffic is more likely to stop and read that sign, rather than go right past it, or not pay any attention to it, or become a hazard. I certainly don't want it to be something that, you know, I couldn't see a car coming because, you know, so.
Yeah, I think the Gehanna ones are pretty skinny.
Yep.
They're a little tall but skinnier.
New Albany has them also,
Yeah.
so you can see them in either of those.
So procedurally, is this something that you go get the information about and bring back to us
Mhm.
at a future meeting?
Mhm.
Yeah, I personally, I would like to see some more information on that, gentlemen.
But I'd also like to see though, tonight under your committee chair, if you would, you know, if you'd say something so that,
Sure.
you know, 4 or 5 people say, I don't think that's a good idea right now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna waste my energy and getting prices or energizing some businesses and then it doesn't happen.
Okay.
So,
I will bring that up.
You mentioned the car park sign out here. The sign post that I have on order already, I think that there's a company in New Albany that's making them for me. I got more posts to replace that one and a new sign already. Do you want me to hold off on putting that sign out there and just do the one that I have for car park? Or do you want me to still install the sign post and sign out here in a different location that you had discussed in previous buildings and grounds meetings, that location wasn't a proper location.
I don't know if the mayor knows about that, but at a previous buildings and grounds, it was mentioned that the car park sign is a little difficult to see, and directed the administration, pre-me, I believe, maybe I was here.
Early on, yeah, it was.
Well, that was, when I first started the discussion with these guys back here, I assumed we had, that this was our property and it was all deeded over. So I was like, why is car park sign on this side, why isn't it on this side? And that's when that was explained to me, and of course, then that unraveled everything to where they haven't, it's not even our road yet, so. But yeah, I'd love to see the car park sign on this side, that just makes sense, but if you already have it made, or you just haven't ordered it yet?
They're getting made at the time. I forget what Loving company it is, but.
I'm afraid
Probably Dave Lindquist.
this is probably gonna take some time, I
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
would follow.
So I would just focus on getting my sign installed once I get the posts back in car
Rocky
park.
Ford, probably Rocky Ford.
That,
It's Rocky Ford.
No,
yeah.
They make
that's a
signs.
big one, yeah.
Well, Mayor, on that whole issue out here, I think that's a different animal than what we were talking about
That's
on the
what,
community signs.
Mhm.
My concern on this one is, I need to try to understand what you're doing, what you wanna do. Is it a sign that says City Hall and Police Station and Car Park? Or is it a business sign that has an insert for City Hall?
It would be a sign that would not only promote the city and the police station, its location, but the other businesses that are here. I guess larger and more visible and more modern, than what we have now.
And the reason why I said I'm going to Gahanna again, Gahanna has a pretty good sized sign out in front of City Hall.
Mhm.
And it says Gahanna City Hall Police Station. And that's all that's on it. Of course,
Yeah.
that's probably all that's at City Hall in Gahanna.
Mhm.
But if it were to have tenants in there, I would think that would be a different sign, or a sign that would be not like a business sign, not like an office park sign.
Not like it is now.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking utility building, doesn't it have like utility department, then it has all the people underneath, like Chamber of Commerce and,
Sterling Theater.
Yeah, I
Maybe
can
something
see
like
that
that.
one, if the city was gonna be
Is that
responsible for
what's
putting
important
something
too?
out there, I mean, for a tenant sign, I would be interested in see how you wanted to do that.
yeah.
I would wanna emphasize City Hall, Patasko Police Station, Car Park could be its own sign, but then underneath there, other tenants or tenants, and then have a small board for tenants.
Well, I mean, I envision obviously Pataskala City Hall being
The main part
the
of
main
it.
guy, and then, Pataskala Police Station, but then also listing, Mayor's Court. When people drive by and they don't know where this stuff is, I mean, everything that's back here, quality chrome. Mayor's Court.
But
Uh,
typically what happens with those signs, when you have a tenant sign, the tenant rents the space of the sign. So you have an A tenant, a B tenant, a C tenant. And if they're not a tenant of ours, and they have why would they get a spot on the sign? Why wouldn't they get their own sign, is what I guess I'm asking.
Well, I mean, do we wanna put, I guess I'm saying, why would you wanna put two signs if you can only put one sign? Add them to our board, so it would look cleaner than having our sign and then their sign. I guess it was more of a, just include them.
Okay.
So I think for the mayor to entertain getting bids and stuff, we'll bring this up at the committee chair, and then if there's interest, then
Okay.
we'll press on from there.
All right.
Got about 11 minutes left, we'll press on. Number 5, location of the Chamber of Commerce time capsule. Is that you, Mr. Hill?
That's me. Chamber of Commerce came to us, this is their 50th anniversary. Originally, they asked that a time capsule be buried at the historic town hall. However, I think that has been briefed to this committee. However, they have come back and said that they would prefer that it be here. I walked the grounds with a member of them, and they feel like a ground plaque, and they do not need a vault. A ground plaque and a time capsule buried immediately south of the flagpoles out front, between the flagpoles and the bushes, where the ground plaque would be sufficient. I don't know that I need a buildings and grounds motion, but I wanted to at least bounce it off this group and see if there was any significant concerns from the group as to placing a time capsule on city property.
I don't really have any.
I think that'd be kind of normal, wouldn't it?
It would be,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure,
I would think that'd be kind of what they do.
so I can move forward with that.
Anything else on that, Mr. Hickey?
Nope, I think if everybody's okay, everybody now knows where it'll be.
I'm gonna go back to-
I'm sorry.
Going back to this, assuming that we have, will we have any review of what they put in the time capsule?
No, I have not discussed. The only thing was they asked for something from the city, and I made the suggestion that perhaps the mayor could make a proclamation honoring the 50th anniversary of the chamber. But I don't know if they're, the other things that they're going to put in there, whatever they happen to be, I don't know. I didn't ask them about that. I
The only
didn't.
reason why I'd ask that, maybe Brian will want some kind of disclaimer, you know, of some type of, you know, notice to somebody 50 years from now that we didn't do it.
Yeah. Wasn't us.
It wasn't us. What's that doing in there? That's not politically correct now.
You know what?
It was
changes
25
every
years
day.
ago.
You
It
never
changes
know.
every day, it'll change in 50 years, what's
That's funny.
appropriate, not appropriate.
Something that indicates that the actual time capsule was placed by the chamber and not the city.
I have full faith in Brian to come up with that resolution, or that his decision.
Mayor, are you okay with the proclamation honoring the 50th anniversary?
They've already asked me for a letter, with, what they want is numbers, because, you know, like, in 2022, how many police officers did we have? How many businesses were in town? They want some type of letter to stick in there, so, and I have one of the keys that Bruce Baird had made up, a key to the city, so, yeah, but I'm fine doing a proclamation, yeah.
Either way.
It's just little mementos from local businesses and the historical society, and it won't be anything major, but yes, I'm working with them on that.
Andy has shot down my Chief Wahoo idea.
I know, that'll get you in trouble 50 years from now.
So there will be
Without
no,
question.
It will
there will
now.
be
That
no,
might get you in trouble next
there
week.
will be no Cleveland Indians logo. So, as Cleveland has also done away with it, so.
Yes, exactly. Washington Football Club.
And my Compton for mayor signs too
I mean,
big, it won't fit.
you may not wanna put in the Watkins Warriors. I mean, I'm suggesting to be very careful.
I understand, And at the very least, work with Mr. Zetz on the disclaimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And I'm not saying anything about that. That doesn't bother me at all, but who knows?
The way of the world.
I understand.
All right, if there's nothing else on that one, we'll move on to update on the city entryway signs.
I think the mayor already touched on that.
Yeah.
Okay, is that the one? Is that?
There's
I didn't know if any signs- any
Update
signs
on
or if
the
this was
city,
a-
the entry sign.
Oh, do you want the actual entryway sign update? So all of the entryway signs have now been placed. If you remember, one was run over, they were old. The street department worked with the administration, actually Jason and I, got new signs up, and Youngquist has been, I'm sorry, that's not right, Quality Yard and Home is doing the landscaping in front of the entryway signs for the city. That was in the budget. And I have not notified Quality Yard and Home that all the signs are in yet, so they probably haven't started the mulching and trimming of the bushes, but that's all part of the regular upkeep of the city, including this building and Chris's. So,
Nope, no questions, fine.
All right, and then finally, the leasing of space at 621 West Broad.
So we have actively been marketing, which is kind of an interesting thing because we haven't really put it in the paper, but it's been more by word of mouth. People trying to get tenants into this building. So right now, we have COTC on a 3-year lease in the classrooms upstairs and a decreased lease in the classroom next door. We have, obviously, the city occupying the finance office, the planning office, and our office. But and then we have the lab. But primarily, that leaves the old COTC large space just inside the back door to the left. I guess that would be the southwestern side, that large COTC space. And then upstairs, we have a 2F, which is a 2-bedroom, 1 conference room receptionist area. And we've been notified that the Allstate agent is on a month-to-month and has been on a month-to-month since the beginning of the year. But that may also be coming up to a time when she would like to vacate that space. So we had a meeting with Chad Brown from the Lincoln County Health Department. He has talked to his board. The mayor and I met with him about, Mayor, 3 weeks ago? I then made an appointment, brought him in, showed him the space, and Lincoln County Health Department would like to open a satellite office in that large area just inside the south entrance of the building to the left. It's a kind of a win-win for everybody. I don't know what their lease options, I mean, their options are 3, 2, 1, month to month. I don't know which one they'll choose yet. But it's an opportunity to have the services of the health department right here in Pataskala for this entire side of the county. Some of it's probably driven a little bit by Intel or anticipated everything that's gonna happen, plumbers, all the things that health departments deal with. But also any Pataskala resident would be able to come here and get health department statistics, birth, death, all that type of stuff. And I think it's a good partnership.
It's definitely being driven by Intel.
So, there you go.
With that 2-bedroom, 1 bath, what else, is kitchen in there?
There is a kitchenette in there.
Are you needing 2 office space on that?
Did I say 2-bedroom?
You did.
Yeah, obviously, my apologies. So that was upstairs, so there is no kitchenette there. The one downstairs is a large reception area, 3 offices, and a kitchenette. So,
Nice.
thank you for,
He's a realtor in his spare time.
I don't know, I got bedroom, bath in my head.
Fenced yard. Security even, it has security.
Yeah.
Does the committee have anything else?
I do not.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Epperson,
Yes.
Gailey,
Yes.
Walther,
Yes.